Hi guys, come and join me down on the mat today. We're going to get started on the floor. So just bring yourself through. Bring your feet up towards the front of the mat. Sit up nice and tall. Take the hands behind the thighs and just lift and lengthen the spine. Take a moment just to close your eyes and bring awareness to the body. So we want to start by feeling the mat beneath our feet. Feel the connection through the little toe, the big toe, the sides of the feet, the heels. Moving up the legs, just thinking of the alignment. You can gently take a check and just make sure that the ankles, the knees, the hips are in alignment. Feel the connection of the sit bones down into the mat. And just notice whether you're defaulting maybe left or right. And just think about even connection through the sit bones into the mat. And then breathe length into your spine. From the tail right up through the top of the head. We want to create that core connection. As you breathe in, think about engaging pelvic floor. Drawing belly button towards spine. And just making sure that those ribs don't flare. The chest doesn't pop forward. We want to keep that nice length in the spine. Give those shoulders a shrug up towards the ears. Draw them back and slide them down towards your back pockets. You can keep your eyes closed if you want. We're just going to take some gentle flexion and extension. So think about lifting the heart, lifting the chin, but keeping the neck long. We don't want to compress into that neck. And then scoop belly button to spine. Flex and round the shoulders. Let the chin drop towards the chest. Into that lovely flexion. Opening, separating the shoulder blades. And again, come through neutral and lift the chest. Scooping belly button to spine. Find that flexion. I'm going to do 3 more of those. Lifting. Notice what's happening in the legs as you start to move and flex and extend the spine of the knees starting to roll in or out. Just think about creating almost like a wave movement with the spine. Let's do 1 more. And then just come back and find length in the spine once more. We're going to turn to one side. Just take the opposite arm. Reach to the hip. Take the other hand behind the back and just add a little rotation. Take your head and look across that back shoulder. Just checking that alignment with the legs. And we're going to release. Rotate. Opposite arm comes across. Reach behind and look over that shoulder. Come back through center. Let's take a stretch. One arm comes up and bring it across into a side bend. So as you bring that arm over, just make sure that the same sit bone doesn't lift. Keep it connected to the earth. And up. And change sides. And up. And then we're going to take the hands behind the thighs once again and just slowly start to roll the spine down. So nice long neck. Scoop the belly in. Think about tucking the pelvis tail underneath you and just connecting to the mat 1 vertebra at a time. Nice and slowly coming down into that lying position. We're going to get set up for some bridge work. So bringing the feet in nice and close towards the sit bones. Hip distance apart. Take a moment as you lie on the mat to just feel where you connect to the earth again. So moving back to the soles of the feet, feeling that connection, the pad under the big toe, pad under the little toe, sides of the feet and heels, alignment of ankles, knees and hips. And just take a moment to notice whether your pelvis, your hips are level, whether one hip is dropped or And just maybe take a little bit of movement in the pelvis, very slight rock forward and back. Lift your hips up, tuck your tail under slightly, and then drop the hips down. And just find that neutral position. Once you're there, we're going to breathe in, engage the core, so that internal lift as we zip and hollow. Arms down by your side. And think about that openness across the collarbones. Feeling the back ribs, the shoulder blades sinking into the floor. We're going to take some pelvic curls. So take a nice deep breath in as you engage. Taking that tilt to the pelvis as you exhale, peeling the vertebra up off the mat one at a time. We're just going to hold this first one up and focus on what muscles we're using to keep us in this position. So I need you to think about actively pulling your heels up towards your sit bones. Notice how that really kicks into the hamstrings. You'll feel the glutes firing, lower backs. That posterior chain of muscles really working to hold you up. Still open across the collarbone. Shoulders away from ears. Pushing those thigh bones away as we take a breath in. And on the exhale, let's sink from the sternum as we release back down. Sinking through that upper back, keeping that posterior tilt of the pelvis so we curl the spine rather than flatten it back to the floor. I'm going to do another 3 like that. Taking that preparatory breath in. Imprint the spine, exhale and pick up one vertebra at a time. Breathing in at the top. Remember of that active pull up of the heels. Press away of the thigh bones. You can activate those tricep muscles here as well. Neck stays nice and long, and then we exhale, sink from the sternum. Focus on that backwards tilt of the pelvis. Good, and 2 more. Breathing in to prepare. Imprint, exhale, pick it up. Breathing in at the top. Let's bring our awareness to the feet quickly as we hold at the top, making sure that we're not rolling onto the outsides or the insides of the feet. Ankles, knees, hips are still in alignment. We sink back down on that exhale. And again. This time as you start, actually no, let's sink all the way down first. Really focus on that lower back. Tilt that pelvis back. Curl it back down. And we're going to bring the arms overhead. And as you do so, just make sure that you keep the back connected to the floor, that we don't flare the ribs or the chest and lift the back. So think about that core connection pulling in, keeping those ribs closed as the arms go overhead. And we're going to start to bridge up. And as we do, we're going to bring the arms through the air so that as the hips come up, the arms press down. Breathing in at the top. And exhale as we start to lower and sink from the sternum, the arms pick up. So that as our pelvis, as our hips land, our arms are overhead. Keep that core connection. We're going to do 3 more of those. Breath in to prepare, posterior tilt. Exhale, pick it up. And exhale to release. Arms come up as hips go down. So I've got a new microphone today, so I hope you're not getting a load of heavy breathing. Editing will prove whether that's the case, but I hope you can all hear me really well. Let's do 2 more. And again, picking up through the spine, pushing down with the arms. And exhale, sinking from the sternum, arms raise. Last one. Good. Bring the arms through the air and bring one knee in towards the chest. Doesn't matter which knee it is. I'm going to take the hands onto the shin and just hug that knee in. Take the other leg and extend it long. So we're going to flex the foot. And I want you to energize that leg that's long on the mat. Just keep it nice and energized. Really squeeze in the opposite leg. And if you can, if you're able to, we're going to take that extended leg and just hover it just a couple of inches above the floor. And then we're going to switch legs. So if the hover is too intense, you can keep the leg on the floor. Feet are flexed, pushing those heels away. And switch. Feel that lovely stretch into the hamstring. You push on the extended leg, pushing that heel away. You're going to feel that great stretch in the calf. Feel the thigh muscle kick in and switch again. And one more time each side. So come back to the leg you started on. And we're going to take an option of a chest lift here. So keeping the hands light on the legs so you're not pulling yourself up. Engage the core as you breathe in. Exhale. Let's curl it up. So we're really drawing the knee in towards the nose, but we're not using our hands to keep us lifted. We're using our core to keep us in that nice flexed position. And we switch. And switch. And switch. You lift a little higher. Got one more each side. Lift. And switch. And just bring both knees in. Release the head back down onto the mat. And let's bring one foot and then both feet down. We're going to take the hands, lace the fingers, and bring the hands behind the head. So just keeping the elbows in your peripheral vision, keeping that core engaged. We want to make sure that the pelvis hasn't tilted back. We haven't gone into complete imprint of the spine here. So just find your neutral position with your pelvis. Core is switched on, so we've got that nice connection through those back ribs into the mat. Hands are behind head. We're going to keep the head down first. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. And we're going to bring one knee up. And then we're going to alternate little toe taps. And tap. Tap. And tap. Bracing strongly through the abdominals. Hold it here. Take a breath. Option exhale. Come into your chest lift. Holding nice and strong. Just let your head fall back into your hands and alternate. Tap. Tap. Breathing in. In. Breathing out. Out. Stay with me. In. In. Out. Out. 2 more sets. In. Out. Can you lift a little higher? Last set. In. In. Out. Out. Bring both knees in. Reach. Give yourself a hug. And then place the feet down. Bring the head down. We're going to do a little bit of coordination. So we're going to bring the arms up towards the ceiling. Palms are facing down. And let's bring the knees over the hips. So we're going to do a little bit of a dead bug variation. So we're going to do alternate arm and leg, but we're actually going to work all 4 limbs. So what you want to do is take as your right toes touch down, your left arm goes overhead. But we're going to move 3 limbs. It's not all 4, it's 3. Both arms and one leg. So you're going to take your right toes to touch down as your left arm goes overhead and your right arm goes down by your side. So it looks a little like this. And then we switch. And we switch. So if you've been to my classes and we've done dead bug before, you'll know we are actually moving all 4 limbs. What am I talking about? I'm confusing myself. Usually we just move 2 limbs at a time. That's what's confusing me. But today we're moving all 4. But it's still opposite arm and opposite leg. So as one arm goes overhead, the opposite leg touches down. And vice versa. Bracing those abdominals. Keep that core engaged. Keep pulling the belly button down to the mat. For 4, 4, 3, 3. How are you finding it? 2, 2, 1, 1. Good job. Bring both feet down, both arms down for now. I'm going to do a couple more variations. So we're going to take the left arm. No, we're going to take the right arm up towards the ceiling. I'm going to bring the right knee over the hip. So same arm, same leg. Okay? You're going to extend the leg out. Try to keep knee in line with knee as you extend the arm overhead. And then come back in. That's it. So we reach and in. Same arm, same leg. Doesn't matter if you're on right or left. Just same arm, same leg. I'm going to do 2 more. Hold it here. You're going to take the arm that you're not using. So I'm going to bring my left hand behind my head. Take a breath in. And as exhale, we're going to take the option of having a chest lift here. Same thing. Arm goes by ear as leg extends, knee in line with knee. And in. Extend. And in. 4 more. 3, 2, so focus on control, hitting the same point each time. 1. Now we're going to change it, so keep the arm by the ear, keep the leg extended. This time as the knee comes in, the arm is going to go down and we're going to rotate across into a side lift. So my left shoulder is coming over towards my right knee. Then right leg, right arm go out as we come back to center. And then we rotate. And reach. So feel free to pause, check out what I'm doing. Come back to me. We're going to do 3 more. We're bringing those obliques in. Rotate. Keep the chest lifted. And up. And 2. And up. 1 more. Here. Bring the foot down. Switch hands. And bring the head down. So we're going to go right back to the start again. So I'm going to bring my right hand is behind my head. Head is staying down to start with. I'm going to bring my left knee over my left hip. Left arm up to the ceiling. And then we extend. Arm by ear. Knee in line with knee. And back up. Extend. And up. So really focusing on the fundamentals. Really tapping into our control. Coming back to the same point each time. Focusing on keeping the bicep near the ear and the knee in line with the knee as we extend. 2 more. And 1 more. We're going to hold it here. Add in the chest lift. Let the head sink back into the hands. Keep the neck nice and long. And again, bicep comes close to ear, knee in line with knee. And up. Extend. And up. 3 more. Keeping those abs braced nice and tight. Scooping belly button down towards the mat. Last one. So arm and leg is extended. I'm going to push the arm down to the floor as I bring the knee over the hip and rotate. Opposite shoulder comes across, working into those obliques. And up. Exhale. Inhale. 4 more. Good. Last one, rotating from the waist rather than just bringing the elbow in towards the knee. Come back. Bring both hands behind the head, bend the knee. Bring the knees. Bring the feet to the floor. Good job. Okay, we're going to keep the hands behind the head. Elbows, peripheral vision again. Just opening those shoulder blades, opening across the collarbones. Just reconnect your feet to the floor for a moment. Bring your awareness back into your pelvis. Core switched on. I'm going to bring my left knee up over my hip. Flex my foot and hook that foot across my right thigh. And then keeping the pelvis nice and still, just open that left knee out. Really opening the hip into that figure 4 stretch. So just holding that stretch for a moment, noticing whether that hip has dipped. So just square your pelvis off. Take a nice breath in and we're going to lift up if you can, bringing that right knee over the right hip. And then as you exhale, tap the toe down. So we've got to brace those abdominals nice and tight. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Exhale. Now you're going to do 4 more. You can choose to stay with that variation or we can add a chest lift. As we take a breath in, the foot's going to come up off the floor. If you're coming with me, we curl up and then everything comes back down. Just lightly tap. Again, up. Release. Just 2 more. Really feeling that glorious glute stretch, as well as working into those abs, feeling that thigh on the opposite leg as well. We're going to lower down, unhook, and change sides. Right knee over hip, flex the foot, hook it across the left thigh. We're going to open, goodness me, open that right hip, taking that knee out to the side, noticing whether you've dipped in your pelvis. So just level off, bracing strongly through the abdominals, keeping the head down first. And we're just going to open into that stretch first of all, a few more seconds. And then pick up and just notice the difference from one side to the other. Definitely feel a lot tighter today on my right hip than I did in my left. So it's harder for me to bring that left knee over the hip here. But getting a great stretch into my right glute. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. You have that choice with 4 more. You can keep the head down. Otherwise, everything comes up. And everything lowers with control. Our favorite word. And up. And release. 2 more. Really engaging the core. Last one. And release. Just let go of the head. Uncross that leg. Just, let's take the knees, the hips from side to side a little bit. And then bring the knees back into the center. So we're going to come into a couple of roll-ups. I'm going to start a little bit more gently with the knees bent, so we can also use the hands to help us get a little bit of a lift here. So with feet flat on the floor, alignment of ankles, knees and hips, arms by your side. We've got that core engaged, pelvis is in neutral. Nice deep breath in as we bring those arms overhead without popping those ribs. And as you exhale, bring the arms up, lift the head, look between the thighs. If you need to, take the hands to the thighs, and as you curl up, let your legs extend out and reach forward. And then we're going to come back into a straight spine position. We're going to take it back. If you want to, you can bend the knees again and round it back. You can hold onto your thighs if it helps. Take the arms overhead. And again, exhale. Look between the knees. Brace the abdominals. Slide the legs out as you reach. You really want to scoop in and up. So we're not collapsing towards the thighs. We're lifting up and lengthening the back. So I'm going to keep my legs straight. If you want to, you can take the legs long. Or you can keep the knees bent, or you can come straight with me, breathing in. And as you exhale, look to the feet, brace the abdominals, lifting in and up, coming forward, and then rounding back, 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 connect, and reach. You're going to do 3 more. And again, arms come through, head lifts, scoop in and up as you round forward. Release it back. My counting skills have not got any better. I've forgotten how many we've got. Let's make this one the last one. You might be pleased to hear that. Oh, reach it forward and just stay in your forward fold. We want to really work into the hips here. So just take one hand underneath your buttock and just lift the buttock and pull back. Same on the other side. Scooping that belly button in towards the spine and folding forward. Just to whatever point your hands come to, you can take a slight knee bend here if you're tight in those hamstrings. And as you exhale, just allow yourself to sink a little deeper. Just relaxing the jaw. Enjoying that stretch into the backs of the legs. Continue to scoop core, belly button to spine. And then we're going to bring it up into a seated position and bend the knees. So I'm going to do a couple of rollbacks here. So bringing the feet, just separating the legs. Finding that connection. Using the hands behind the thighs to help lift for the first couple. We're going to take that breath in, core connects. And as we exhale, we're going to take that posterior tilt of the pelvis. So tuck the bottom underneath you. Scoop belly button in and up. And round back. Take a breath. And then exhale, we're going to round forward. Shoulders over, or chest over thighs. And then lift. And again, scoop and round. Breathing in. And breathing out. 2 more like that. Let the elbows go out wide as you roll forward over the thighs. Last one. And then if you're happy to, we're just going to release the arms out in front. Take a breath, exhale, let's start to take it back exactly the same. Because we've let go of the arms, you might find that you can go back just that little bit further. You choose where you want to get to. Breathing in, exhale. Curling back up, Sit bones connect, shoulders over hips. Lift that spine. 3 more. Taking that breath at the bottom. Maybe your low back connects. Maybe your mid back. Maybe you're almost on those shoulders. Exhale as you curl back up. And if you feel the feet lifting off the mat, or you feel you're having to kick your legs a little bit, maybe don't go back just so far. Let's take one more like that. Good job. All right, we're going to fold the arms into a genie position, still sitting up nice and tall. Take a breath, and as you exhale, let's take it back, just onto the back of the pelvis. So just coming off the sit bones, not too far back. So we're going to add a little bit of rotation. If your shoulders are kind of up around your ears, just slide your shoulder blades down towards your back pockets, and let's rotate towards the camera, towards me, towards your screen, and then back. And again, towards me. And back. So we're really working through the waist, rotating from the ribs. You feel your thighs starting to burn. Your hip flexors might be on fire. Mine certainly are. 2 more. And try to keep, if you're wearing a watch, you want to try to keep that watch in the center of your chest. We're going to take it the other way now. So all that means is that the rotation is coming from the waist rather than you just moving the elbows and the arms. So just take a little check each time. Are you still scooping belly button to spine? Are you still taking that backward tilt of the pelvis? 3 more. Keep breathing. And 2. Last one. Oh, goodness me. Reach the arms in front, draw it up, take the knees wide, fold forward. Oh, let's take a little stretch here. All right, coming back up, we are going to take it onto our forearms. So just coming down, we want to make sure that the elbows are beneath the shoulders. Just imagine you were lying on a beach. Goodness me, when will we be able to do something like that again? Holidays. But yeah, we can imagine, we can pretend, right? So we want to make sure that the chest is nice and proud. Abdominals are braced and spine is long. So we don't want to pop the ribs and the chest open. You'll see I've got an arch in my back, and we also don't want to slouch the back down. So just think about from your pelvis, from your tail, creating length in your spine, keeping your pelvis in a neutral position. Chest proud, drawing the shoulders back and bracing the abdominals. So we're going to bring the legs together nice and tightly. Squeezing the inner thighs. These next few exercises are going to really help target the inner thighs. I'm going to extend the leg closest to you and then take an external rotation from the hip. So if you think about trying to turn your toes towards the screen, but make the movement from your hip rather than just your foot. So knees are together, squeeze the thighs together, externally rotate, spine nice and long, and we're going to slide that leg down and slide it up, knee in line with knee. Slide down, so these are leg slides, and up, keeping that external rotation. So you want to watch that the pelvis doesn't rock, so keeping the pelvis level, and keep your hands on your hips to remind you. Drop down, and up, good. Down, and up, 4 more. 3. Keeping that external rotation. If the external rotation doesn't feel good in your hips, release it and just take the leg slide up and down. We're going to hold up. We're going to separate the legs just a little and take tiny little lifts. Up, up, up. Still in that external rotation. 4, 3, 2, 1. Drop down, open out and in, out and in. Still with that external rotation. Out and in. We've got 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Release the rotation, bend the knee. Oh, just rock the hip a little if you need to. I'm going to spin round. You can stay where you are as long as you've got space for the other side. I'm just going to spin round so my working leg is nearest to you. And we're going to do all that on the other side. So again, just checking your position. Shoulders, elbows beneath shoulders. Spine long, chest proud. Braced abdominals. Squeezing the legs together. And we're going to bring that leg extended up. And then if you're taking that external rotation from the hip, you want to try to turn those toes out. Just watch, as I said, that pelvis doesn't, your opposite hip doesn't lift up. So just keep your pelvis level. And we slide down, leg slide. And up. So I didn't talk about the other side. On the other side, sorry, keeping your supporting leg nice and still. Really focus on sliding that leg up and down. 5, 6, 7, and 8. Keeping that external rotation, separate the legs, little pulses. 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. Lower it down to hover above the floor, and we take it out and in. Keeping that supporting leg still and hip down. So just make sure that supporting hip doesn't lift up. Oh, 2 more. These burn, right? Last one. Oh, release the rotation. Place the foot down. Just move the leg about if you need to a bit. Oh, and we're going to come up and just release for a moment. And then we're going to take it back down again. So keep those elbows in nice and tight as you take them down towards the floor, working the triceps. Spine long, chest proud, core engaged. We're going to get ready for some bicycles. Bring the knees over the hips. And we're going to take one leg up and switch. Bicycle movement with the legs. So try to really squeeze that knee in towards the chest and lengthen out through the opposite leg. Stretch, stretch. All right, the brain teaser bit is coming. Take a pause. Can you reverse it? Scoop. This is the bit that confuses me. But we get there. Reverse it. Reverse it. For 4, 4, 3, 3, 2, 2, 1. 1. Bring both knees in. And press up as the feet come down. All right, we're going to keep the hands pointing towards the feet. Wrists underneath shoulders. Feet hip distance apart. Brace your abdominals. Lift your chest proud as you take a breath in. Exhale, we're going to lift it up into that tabletop. Inhale as you let your hips land. And then we're going to take a little tricep dip back. Just hover those elbows above the floor and press up. And again, exhale, up. Keeping the neck long. Hips land. We dip back. Squeeze up. If you don't want to come into that full tabletop position, you can just hover the hips. 3 more. Really lifting with the back body, opening, drawing the shoulder blades together. Lower, keeping the elbows in nice and tight, heading towards the floor. Push up. 2 more. down, press, release, last one. And release. Take the legs out in front, sit up nice and tall. We're going to reach the arms out wide and then bend. Think of goalpost arms. So elbows are back, slightly lower than shoulders. Spine is long, really scooping the abdominals in. Gluing the legs together. Keeping quiet through the pelvis. We're going to come into some spine twists. So turning towards me, little pulse, pulse. Through center, other way. Pulse, pulse. So if you feel the legs moving on the mat, we maybe just want to brace those abdominals a little bit more. Make sure that you're rotating from the waist. And that should keep the pelvis and the legs quiet. Pulse, pulse, center, pulse, pulse, center. One more each side. Center and pulse, pulse, and center. Good job. Just release. Bend the knees. Give yourself a little hug. Oh, and we're going to come into some side lying work. I'm just going to shift this little mic pack as I come onto my side. And we're going to take it down and set up for torpedo. So we're going to keep the body in a nice long line. Take the bottom arm out long. Legs are together. So ankles, knees, hips, shoulders are in alignment. And think about length from your armpit to your hip on both sides. I'm going to flex the feet, glue the legs together. Exhale as we lift up. Inhale, 3/4 of the way down. Exhale. Inhale. So as you lift up, still think about keeping length from armpit to hip. So we don't want to really compress into the waist. We want to lengthen out, making those legs as long as possible. Good job. We've got 3 more. Last one. Let's hold it up for a count of 5. And just flex and point the feet. 4, 3, 2. Can you lift a little higher? Last point. Last flex. And bring the feet down. Good. We're going to come up onto the forearm. So just make sure that the elbow is beneath the shoulder. And we really want to lift from the underside of the body. So keeping nice and long the whole way as we go into these side bridges. So I'm going to take my bottom knee and bend my bottom leg. So my knees are still in alignment, but my bottom knee is bent 90 degrees. You can have your hand on your hip or your hand behind your head. I'm going to brace the abdominals, engage as if you were going to lift the hips, and as you exhale, let's hover the hips. Inhale, lightly touch down. Exhale. Inhale, so you're really pulling up from that underside. 3 more. If you're feeling super strong, you can have both legs out straight here. Last one. And we're going to hold this one up for the count of 5. So 5. Take little pulses. 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Big smile. And release it down. Well done. All right, we're just going to pick those legs up. Spin it round. Let's do the other side. So coming down for the torpedo setup, first of all, nice straight line with the body. Abdominals are braced, length from armpit to hip, especially on the underside as well, both sides of the torso. Think about pushing that bottom leg up into the top, so you're energizing top shoulder away from the ear, and we exhale up into that torpedo. Inhale 3/4 of the way down. And just watch that shoulder doesn't start to creep up around the ear. Maybe notice the difference from one side of the body to the other. 2 more. And then on this last one, we're going to hold it up. Point and flex. Point. See if you can lift a little higher. Point. Feel those thighs starting to burn with that point and flex. Oh, one more point. One more flex. Lower the legs down. Well done. Push it up onto the forearm. We've got these side bridges to go. So legs are straight, and then that bottom knee just bends 90 degrees. Knees are still stacked. Energize from the underside of the waist. Check the position. Elbow beneath shoulder. Hand can be on hip or behind head. Take a breath. And exhale, lift. Inhale, lightly hover. And just think about keeping the neck nice and long. So you don't want to try to draw that ear up towards the shoulder. If your hand is behind your head, just think about keeping your neck in that nice alignment. 2 more. Pressing away from the floor so you're not sinking down into that bottom shoulder. We're going to hold this one up. Those little pulses for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Big smile. Let it go. Well done. We're going to come over onto our tummies. Finish with a little bit of prone work. So just bring the hands in front of the face. Elbows out wide. And just let your head rest on your hands. Take a moment to notice whether you are bringing those shoulders up tight around the ears, and just focus on drawing your shoulders away from your ears. Think about those wings on your back just drawing down. You want to take a moment, bring your awareness down into your pelvic area. Brace your abdominals, so think about your pelvic floor engaging, your core muscles, your zip and your hollow, and press down through your pubic bone. Feel the glutes engage. Energize the legs. You might start to feel the legs just lightly floating on the mat. And have the legs together. And then continue to keep energizing the legs. I'm going to lift and extend one leg a little bit higher. And as you release, switch opposite side. Release and switch. Release and switch. Hip bones, pubic bones stay connected nice and strongly to the earth. And switch. One more each leg. Switch. Bringing both legs down, but still energizing, still hovering, and see if you can, if it feels okay for your lower back, to lift both legs. If it doesn't, stay with the singles. And down. So what you don't want to be doing here is this. Bending from the knees. So think about reaching, as if you're trying to reach for something with your big toes that's just out of your reach, and then just that little bit higher, as if you're trying to flick a switch up. And down. Good. 2 more. Up. Squeezing the buttocks. Pressing down through hips and pubic bone. Last one. Up. And down. Let the legs connect. Keep them energized. We're going to push down through the tops of the feet on the mat. And bring your hands out to the sides of your mat so that your hands are just slightly above your shoulders. If you were to rest your nose on your mat, your thumbs and your nose are in a similar line. Neck nice and long. I'm going to take some nice extension work here. Draw the shoulders away from the ears as you breathe in. Press down through hip bones and pubic bone. Exhale, keeping the arms light. Peel the nose. Just roll the nose forward. Lifting the sternum, maybe the upper ribs off the mat. And then releasing back down. And again, exhale. Think about drawing the shoulders down the back, sliding the nose forward. Keep the neck long. And releasing. Trying not to use the arms if you can. 2 more like that. Really using those back muscles to lift. 1 more like that, and then we're going to do some more. We're going to add on. So just watch your lower back here. If it doesn't feel right, don't do it. But what I'm going to do is, as I lower the chest lift, as I lower the swan, I'm going to lift and extend those legs. And then as I start to lift my chest lift, I'm going to lower the legs, really extending out from the hips. It's almost like a little seesaw rocking motion. Keeping hip bones and pubic bones connected. Pubic bone connected. And lift. Good. Elbows stay down. 2 more. Inhale. And exhale. And 1 more. Inhale. And exhale. If you want to, as the feet come down, press the tops of the feet into the mat. We can lift and elevate a little bit higher if you want. Just take your head gently from side to side. And again, just reaching, looking over the shoulder. And then slowly, slowly lower. Back down. Good job. We're going to slide the hands in by the chest. Press up to the knees. Sit back towards the heels. Take a nice stretch here. Let's maybe rock the hips if it feels good. We're going to come up into a quadruped position. Wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, long spine, pressing that floor away. And let's just drop into a cow. So coming into another extension, we want to let the abdominals drop, lift, send the chest forward, lift and separate the sit bones, eye gaze straight ahead. And then leading from the pelvis, scooping belly button in towards spine, head drops as back rounds. We come into that lovely cat stretch. And again, head lifts through that neutral position into that cow. If the cow doesn't feel right, if the extension doesn't feel right, just stay with neutral and flexion. So with your cat and then stopping in your neutral position. 2 more. Last one. Come to neutral. Take the leg closest to me and just step it forward. So if you find you get stuck halfway, just take hold of your ankle and just slide that foot forward. And then we want to bring the hips forward and down. So into that nice low lunge position. Keep the hands light. Front knee over front ankle. And then if you're not getting that lovely stretch into that back thigh, just slide your knee, your back leg out behind you a little bit more. You can come up, hands rest on thighs. Think about just taking a slight tuck of the pelvis and pressing forward so you get that great stretch into the hip flexors. Then bring the hands to the mat and just press the hips back. Pull the toes up of that front leg. And feel that stretch into the hamstring on the front leg. Just try and keep the back nice and long. And again, we go forward and lift. tap down and press back. One more of each, flowing forward. If you can bring those arms up and lower and press back. Now you're just going to slide that foot through and change sides. Step the other leg forward. Help it foot through if you need to, making sure the knee is above the ankle. If you need to get a deeper stretch, just slide that back leg back a little further. Hands are light. Well, we can come up. Think about that posterior tilt. Just tuck your tail underneath you and press forward so you get that great stretch. We bring the hands down as we push the hips back. Front foot lifts. Get that stretch into the hamstring. And round forward. And lift. Hands down. Press back. Forward. And lift. Let's do one more like that. We can add in the arm reach as well. Back. And lift. And release. Take it through. And come through to seated. Cross the legs or come into diamond, whatever feels right for you. Take the hands onto the knees and let's just round forward, sweep to the side, up and across the other way. So just a nice rolling movement with the spine. And then reverse it. Last one. Come back to center. Release the arms. Take a big breath in. Catch the arms overhead, palms together. Bring the hands down to the heart. And release. And again, breathing in. And out. Two more. Last one. We keep the hands at the heart center and we are done. Thank you so much for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure. I hope you enjoyed the class and I look forward to seeing you all again really soon. Take care. Stay safe.